And so I'm stuck on the side of the road trying to figure out how I'm going to get 180 miles home. I thought, you idiot, I got a car in the trailer, so I unloaded it at 1 o'clock in the morning on the side of the road and drove it back to Atlanta, and never missed a beat. My name is Mike Baer. I'm with Firebird Central, and we are at the Indiana Fairgrounds for the World of Wheels. I've got a 77 Trans Am, and I've owned it for about 7 years. We spent 4 years restoring it, and I drive it. So I've put 7,000 miles on it since we finished it, and had a lot of great help from companies like All Classic in Woodstock, Georgia, and of course Firebird Central. But we mentored some teenagers during the process, and got them tearing down the car and learning how to weld and replace some floor pans and frame rails and subframes, and just taught them how to work with their hands a little bit. I think that's the thing that's missing today with the younger generation, is they're engrossed in Xbox, and we're out here trying to get them interested in this hobby, because it's a great media to learn a trade, and we need all the craftsmen we can get. We've got a matching numbers 400 big block, so we wanted to keep the heritage of the 400 motor, so we did put Kaufmann heads and their internals in it, and put a lot of new technology, but kept the look of the original motor. So we've got a Billet Specialties serpentine system. We've got a Hotchkiss 1.5-inch drop suspension. We tied the frame to make it a solid frame car, so we knew we were going to throw some horsepower at it, so we didn't want the twisting, so we tied the frame. We've got 17x9 year one wheels. They're replicas of the original Snowflakes, but they're a little bit bigger and a little bit wider. And I think we've got the first set of Dakota Digital Retro gauges that came out. So they actually look like the original gauges, but it's all fly-by-wire, so it's all digital. It was in really bad shape. About the only original piece of metal left on the car was the roof and the firewall. We've replaced the fenders, the subframe, the floor pans, the trunk pan, the rear sail panel, the rear frame rails. It was just gone. It was just gone. So as far as sourcing parts, I'm not just saying it because I work with them, but just about everything I bought came from Firebird Central. And they have a huge facility in Richmond, Kentucky, and they've got what you need. So I mean, I partnered with them during the build, and when we got it done, we started talking about what's important to us, and the kids are what's important to us, and trying to get them involved into this program. So we decided to do the World of Wheels tour, and we've been very fortunate, and we've got to talk to a lot of kids and hand out a lot of cool swag. But at the same time, we're having a good time. So parts. This was all pre-COVID and during COVID, so it was, some things were challenging to get, but we were able to do it. The biggest thing that I was concerned about when I was restoring and sourcing the parts was being able to get the interior, because that's typically the hardest things to find. But everything in the interior I bought from Firebird Central in Richmond, Kentucky. And I came in, and they actually opened the store for me, and literally, as we spoke, said, you need this, you need this, you need this. And they sourced the whole interior in one trip when I was there. So I was able to actually do the whole interior over a 4-day weekend. And so that was one of the pleasant surprises. I thought that was going to be the hardest part to do, and it ended up being the easiest. Well, when I first started the project, I wanted to build a car that I could get in and go drive and enjoy it. I didn't want to do this and I wanted not to be able to enjoy it. So we show it, but we drive it. I've put a little over 7,000 miles on it since I've had it finished. We were actually, funny story, we were in Birmingham about a month ago at the convention center, and we got out of the convention center about 10 o'clock, and my brand new truck blew up. And so I'm stuck on the side of the road trying to figure out how I'm going to get 180 miles home. I thought, you idiot, I got a car in the trailer, so I unloaded it at 1 o'clock in the morning on the side of the road and drove it back to Atlanta. And never missed a beat, so I do drive it. It's kind of tamed down a little bit because of the transmission. It's an automatic 3-speed. I'm considering putting a Tremec 5-speed in it, and that's going to wake it up quite a bit. But you can have fun with it. You can certainly spin the tires and do what you want. But it's not over the top. So you can have fun, but it's not crazy.